Well, if we want to define erectile dysfunction, it's the non-politically correct phrase, and you're going to see older doctors still using that, is impotence. Impotence. Um, it's basically the drug industry, Pfizer, who made Viagra, coined the phrase erectile dysfunction to say, the average person gets an erection, it's just not any good. It starts to become something you have to work at, and then it starts to become something where maybe you can't finish, and then it starts to become something where you don't have it. So obviously they wanted to sell more drugs, so they wanted to have a softer word for it, erectile dysfunction, that would encompass all of those men that were not happy with their erections. Impotence tends to refer to that end stage of I don't get it at all. And that's not the typical person that we see that asks for help. The analogy that I always use, and it shows my age because these days roller coasters are far more fancy than what I described. But in my era, we would go to the amusement park and we would have an old wooden roller coaster that would, ching, 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 ching up the first hill. And we all know that feeling of you're at the first hill, but you're not really going fast and you're just starting to go down that hill. Well, that is how I describe erectile dysfunction. It's incredibly common, way more common than you think. Probably half of 60-year-olds are starting to notice problems. And it goes in the stages I just described, where first it's sometimes I have to work at it. Second, it's, well, now I really have to work at it. Third is I can't finish sometimes. And the first or second time that happens, then things start to get in your head, all the way to the point of impotence, where you say, I just don't get an erection anymore. So I call that the roller coaster, and it only has one way that it goes. And the key to understand is once you're on that hill, it always will be progressive. That's a concept that a lot of men don't understand. And that very much comes into play when people are taking pills, which we can talk about later.